Hi everybody, welcome to Catherine Sews. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today we're going to look at identifying different fabrics. So if you've ever bought fabric or even a garment and you just weren't sure what kind of fabric it is, then you don't really know how to care for it and what setting, if you need to iron it, what setting to use on the iron. And I have learned this the hard way. Once I had a garment that looked a lot like linen, but when I went to iron it, I melted it. Manufactured fibers will melt on a hot setting on the iron. You also need to know if it's washable or not, and so you have to be very careful. It's good to know what the fabric is. I'm going to run through 3 different kinds of tests today. The first is a standard burn test, and with that we're going to be able to easily tell if it's manufactured or if it's a natural fiber. So that's the first thing we'll do, but then sometimes you can tell that it's a manufactured fiber or a synthetic fiber, but it's hard to tell which kind it is. So we're going to go through 2 other tests. One uses nail polish remover, which is acetone, and this destroys acetate, so we'll be able to distinguish polyester from acetate. And then the other is bleach. If you have something that's a dark color fabric and you don't know if it's cotton or polyester, dipping it in bleach will tell you right away. So let's go through those 3 tests, and it's actually kind of fun too. I have a tea light sitting on a flame-proof surface. I have a bowl of water so that I can extinguish the flame. And I've got 11 different kinds of fabric here to take you through that burn test. If you want to test an actual garment and you don't want to cut a square out of it, maybe there's a spot where you can just pull out a few threads. And then I've got small bowls, one for nail polish, one for bleach. We definitely do not want to mix bleach and nail polish. That can create really toxic gases, so none of that. I also have tweezers from my serger. Please don't just hold the fabric, because you'll be surprised at how quickly some of them get engulfed in flames. So don't just hold it with your fingers and think you'll be fine, because you probably won't be fine. Use your tweezers. If you don't have long tweezers like this, just use kitchen tongs, okay? And in terms of safety for yourself, you don't want to have any loose flowing sleeves, any loose baggy shirts. We are working with fire, so be careful. Good time to wear something that's close fitting. If your hair is any longer than mine, you probably want to tie it up. I think we're ready to get started. Here we go, tweezers, and I'm going to take my first bit of fabric. Now, honestly, most of the time you can tell what kind of fabric it is just from the feel. This feels like a nylon windbreaker. You know what that feels like, right? It feels quite plasticky. It doesn't feel like air could pass through it. So it has that plasticky feel. I'm pretty sure already that this is a synthetic or what they call manufactured fiber. So I'm going to dip that in the flame. When I take it away from the flame, it keeps going, curls up, and that one stops burning, curls away, and it has like a yellow, oh no, it didn't stop burning. Okay, now the smell of it is very chemical smell. It's stinky, and it has a bit of a yellow cast. So when I let that cool, it's gone completely like plasticky there, and it's got a hard, it's like hard plastic, exactly what it is. So I know that that is definitely a synthetic, and I'm pretty sure that is nylon. I find that nylon tends to go yellow, and with that nylon windbreaker feeling and the fact that it just all melted, I'm going to say nylon. Next is this one. Now, feeling this feels like a man's dress shirt. It feels really nice, like a nice quality cotton. And if you can see on this one, it has a very subtle but beautiful herringbone weave. So I know this is a nice quality fabric. It feels breathable, it feels natural. If I crumple that up, it's gonna wrinkle, right, which a natural fiber would. But you know what, some of the synthetics wrinkle too, so the wrinkle test is not really that great of an indicator. So when I set this one on fire, it goes, like it's not going out at all. So dip that in the water. The smell, it smells just like burning paper. And you know why? Because paper comes from trees, it's cellulose. Cotton, this is cotton, it comes from a plant, it's cellulose too. They're both cellulose based. So now look at that edge here. It's coming off just black. There's no hard bead. The hard bead is an indicator that it's a plasticky fabric. It's a synthetic. When it's just ash like that, you know it's a natural fiber. With that paper smell, I know it's a cellulose-based natural fiber. with it being really black ash like that, that tells me that this is a good quality cotton. It's been mercerized, which is a process that they treat cottons with to make it like smoother, more lustrous. Okay, so that is cotton. That paper smell is your key. Next up, well, this is beautiful. This one feels very silky. That's a good clue. It feels to me like it could be a parachute. If it feels like something you could make a parachute out of, that's a pretty good indicator that this might be silk, but maybe it's a synthetic. Sometimes the synthetics can really mimic silk nicely. So we're going to burn this. Now, silk is a natural fiber. It's not cellulose based, right? It doesn't come from a plant. It comes from an animal or a bug. It comes from a moth, right, that spins a cocoon. And so that is actually protein based. So this is going to smell, if this is silk, it's going to smell a lot like burning hair, but not as strong as if it was burning hair, like wool. So let's give this a little burn. Look at that go. Okay, really good to have a bowl of water around. Yeah, it almost smells like burning insects, honestly. Like there is that protein smell to it. You know, it does have a burning hair kind of smell to it, but it has like almost like a burning insect smell as well, which is like not very pleasant. To know if it's synthetic or real silk, you're gonna just touch that edge. See how that just crumbles. That's just a soft ash. If it was a hard bead, I would know it was the synthetic. Okay, so there we go. I'm gonna put this one aside though, because we're gonna put this through the second test as well. Next up is this one. This is like a t-shirt knit, but again, just starting with how it feels, it doesn't, you know what a like 100% cotton t-shirt feels like. It has that just cozy, huggable feeling to it, right? This one is stretchier. It has like more recovery, meaning that it recovers from the stretch more. And that tells me, I don't think this is 100% cotton. I think there is a small percentage of what's called elastane or spandex that helps with that recovery of the stretch, right? So I'm going to burn this. If it was like 50-50 cotton poly, then we're going to feel that hard bead, that hard edge. So if it's got just that small percentage of lycra, you only need like 3 to 5% of lycra for a knit to have that recovery, that stretchability and recovery. So it's probably not a big enough percentage for us to feel a difference. So let's burn it, see what happens. Okay. So it burns slowly, the way a cotton would, but now it's starting to take. Okay. All right. So that is cooled, and I don't feel any hard edge there at all. So it's not 50-50 cotton poly. It's definitely 100% cotton, but I think there is that small percentage of a lycra or spandex that gives it that recovery, because it just doesn't have that super soft, cozy cotton t-shirt feeling, right? It has a little bit more of that spandexy feeling. Okay, next, here's a good one. This one has a very beautiful slub in it, meaning that the yarn that's used to weave this is a little bit irregular. There's bumps in the yarn, and that makes it a very beautiful, natural looking fabric. But as I said before, I've been tricked by things that look like linen, but were not linen. It really does have the feel of a linen tablecloth or linen napkins. It feels like your grandma's tablecloth, right? So if it melts and gives us that hard bead, then I'll know I've been tricked again. Let's see how this one burns. So it goes up pretty good. Ooh, look at that. And let's extinguish that. Okay, so now feeling that edge. That's linen. There we go. No hard bead, so there's no synthetic in there at all. It's got no stretch either. So if it had that little bit of stretch, I would think maybe it had that 3 to 5% lycra, but it's got no stretch at all. Black, and it smells just like burning paper, so we know it's cellulose. Just soft ash. Okay, so that one, pretty sure that is linen. Next up, this one. It has the feeling of lining. Like any blazer in my closet would probably have a lining quite a bit like this. Lining can be polyester, nylon, rayon. So this one, it could be any of those polyester, nylon, rayon, acetate. We'll see. So first I'm going to burn it, but that's only going to tell me if it's natural or synthetic. I know already it's not natural, right? When you feel that, you know that's not a silk. It feels quite different from the silk we just tried. So here we go. Ooh. Really definitely use your tweezers. Okay, and right away you'll feel that hard edge. There is a little bit of ash in there, but that is a hard edge, that hard melted plastic edge, right? So that one is definitely synthetic, but we're going to put it through a second test to see what kind it is. Next up. Okay, this one is felt. You all know what felt feels like. Felt is not woven or knitted. Those fibers are just bonded in there. So it's bonded the same way paper fibers are bonded together, or in the same manner, really. These days, they just use chemical processes to bind those fibers together. Traditionally, felt would have been made out of wool, and the fibers would have been bonded together using moisture, heat, and agitation. But this is from the dollar store. This is probably not real wool felt. So we're going to burn this and see what happens there. Black smoke. There we go. It's taken off. Okay. So let's just see that hard edge. Look at the black smoke marks from it and a really hard bead on the edge. Yep, so that one, definitely not wool. That's an acrylic felt. Okay, this one, this has a bit more of a fancy weave. It's not a plain weave. It feels like a suit jacket or blazer. So let's give that a burn. And right away, it goes out. It doesn't want to burn. It's the most flame retardant one we've had so far. It just puts itself out, right? It really doesn't want to burn. And that's a characteristic of wool. Wool is quite flame retardant. It just goes out. And the smell is totally burning hair smell. So we know that it's protein-based. Hair is what wool is, right? And then look at the edge there. It just crumbles. I can break up that edge. So that's not a synthetic. There's no synthetic in there. That's 100% wool. Good. That burning hair smell, that is the key there. Okay, this one. Again, just starting with the feel of the fabric, this one has a plasticky feel. It feels like my Easy Care tablecloths and Easy Care napkins. Or to be honest, it feels like the polyester pants my mother wore in the 70s. That's the kind of real plasticky feel. So let's see how that burns. Yeah, so that goes up, lots of black smoke. And the smell is, it's a real chemical smell, but not super stinky like some of the other ones have been. And it also has those flame marks, like the smoke marks like the acrylic did. And feeling the edge really hard. I cannot break that up. It's not like a little comes off, but it's not like the wool where I could just break all of that off. It's got that real hard edge. So I know that's a synthetic, and with that, just from the feel of it, we know that's polyester. Okay, this one is a denim. You can see it's got that twill weave. It's lighter on the back. Twill weave means it's got an angle. You can see an angular pattern in the weave. So that's a twill. The twill weave is super durable. That's why they use it for jeans. It has no stretch at all. And it has that good cottony feel like a brand new pair of jeans. So I don't think that there's any synthetic in there. If it had any stretch, I would say that, yeah, there might be that 5% Lycra, but there's no stretch at all there. So let's just see how that burns. It's slow, right? Not as slow as wool, but it's slow. And it's got a soft edge, no hard edge there. So I know that's 100% cotton. The last one, we already know what this is. This is a fleece. It's stretchy, it's fuzzy. We know what they make fleece out of. It's polyester. And so I'm going to dip that. And you can see how that burns. It's going pretty good. Okay. And super hard edge. You just can't break anything off there. So I'm going to take these two black ones and just show you the difference that bleach makes on polyester versus cotton. Let's get our 2 second tests going. I'm going to put a little bit of nail polish in one of the bowls. And then some of the synthetics that I just wasn't sure about. So this one, I'm gonna stick the corner of that one in there. And then this one is the one I'm pretty sure is silk, but let's just put it through this test anyway. This is the one pretty sure it's nylon, but we're gonna put it through this test anyway. And that one we know is polyester. Okay, so I'm gonna leave those three sitting in there. The one that I think is perhaps acetate, the one I'm pretty sure is silk, and the one I'm pretty sure is nylon. We're just gonna let those sit in that nail polish remover for a few minutes. And I'm making sure now, I'm gonna put a little bit of bleach in the second bowl, but I'm making sure not to get the bleach and the nail polish remover anywhere near each other. So with the bleach, we're gonna just dip the unburnt corner of the cotton, what I'm pretty sure is 100% cotton, and what I know is 100% polyester, just so you can see the difference here. Now with cotton, especially with denim, you know you've got two different color threads in there, or two different color yarns in there, right? There's the white color that shows on the back, and then the dark color that shows on the front. So you know that it's not dyed after the product, after the fabric is made. It was dyed in the yarn stage. The yarns were dyed, and that color was put onto the yarn, and that's how the bleach can impact that dye, because it's right there in the yarn. With the polyester, the dye is put right into the solution. It's a polymer, so it's like a melted plastic, and they put dye right into the solution. Then they take that polymer and they put it almost through like a shower head, and the fibers come out like that. So the dye is right in the plastic. That's why the bleach is not going to be able to touch that dye. So we'll let those sit there for a second. Actually, you don't have to wait too long. You can see that the dye is coming out of the denim already. You can see quite a big difference there, right? So the bleach will definitely affect the color in the cotton, but on the polyester, nothing. It just can't touch it at all. So when you're working with bleach, it's good to wear your polyesters, because you're not taking a chance that you're gonna wreck your good cotton clothes. Good. So that's kind of good to know that bleach really does not affect polyester whatsoever, but it completely changes the look of cottons. Let's look what's happening over here at our nail polish remover. This one that I thought was silk is completely unaffected by the nail polish remover. There's just no change there at all. And then this one that I thought was nylon, also unaffected. There's just no change from the nail polish remover. Now look at this. This is the acetate. For sure I know that's acetate now, because it is literally melting in that nail polish remover. It is turning into goo. From the acetone in the nail polish remover is turning that acetate into goo. So there, I'm 100% sure now that one is acetate. Can you just see? It's just like melting. Quick review, when you do your burn test, the main thing that you're going to be able to see instantly is if it is natural or synthetic. Synthetics are going to give you that hard bead like melted plastic. Every one of the synthetics we tried is a petroleum-based polymer, so that's where plastic comes from, right? It's petroleum, same thing. There are other kinds of synthetics. Just to give a quick mention, there are some synthetics that are cellulose-based. So let me explain that for a second. Something like bamboo or rayon, those come from a cellulose base. Rayon comes from wood pulp, bamboo obviously from bamboo, but the process takes them out of like the fiber that turns them into a polymer to be able to spin those yarns. So they're so processed that it's not considered a natural fiber anymore, but you still might get a bit of a burnt paper smell from them. And there are also some new fabrics being experimented with that are super cool, that are bio-based polymers, meaning they're coming from mycelium like mushrooms and bacteria and pineapple, and like all kinds of really exciting fabrics are being created now that are bio or life-based polymer. So that's exciting. So I don't know how those burn. So today you could see that burn test showed us natural or synthetic. And then sometimes though, with the naturals, it's more the smell that tells you which is which. The protein-based, so the wool and the silk, have that burning hair smell. The cellulose-based, like cotton and linen, have that burning paper smell. Good. Okay, and then the synthetics, I gotta say, some of them look a lot the same when you burn them. You're looking for that hard edge, you know it's synthetic. Put it through one of the secondary tests to know which kind it is, okay? I hope you had fun with that. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Take care.